Can I ask you what the bigger risk is? Is the bigger risk hanging on to Jordan Poole's contract and horrible chemistry, right, for this team?
Yeah.
Or is the bigger risk relying on Chris Paul to stay healthy?
Boy, that's a great question.
Because we all agree. Wait, before you continue, I'll let you think about it. We all agree. There's risk on both sides.
Both sides. Big time risk.
Tremendous risk.
Both time risk.
Tremendous. Yeah. All these deals come with risk. But in this particular circumstance, there's the cemented money, there's the chemistry, there's the lot. Like, there's a lot of stuff working against JP. There's a lot of stuff working against Chris Paul, too.
Yeah, no doubt. Both sides of it. Now, if Chris Paul doesn't work out, the great thing is you could either move off him in mid-January or after the season.
You have a parachute.
If JP continued to struggle and continue to be inefficient, all of a sudden his trade value goes down even more.
Agreed.
And you're stuck with him for another 3 years after next season.
Agreed.
With a lot of money on the table. And then you're stuck in a rock and a hard place with JP. So maybe in that sense, the bigger risk is Jordan Poole. But I think Jordan Poole is going to be a fine player in the league. I really do. But and there's an argument to be made that the Warriors so low on Jordan Poole. But I also get that you didn't have time to wait on him.
But here's another element I don't think people, because we talk about flexibility, which makes total sense. Now, the Warriors are not the Knicks, okay? They got Steph. They got Lakeup. So it feels disrespectful to even use them as an example. How many times have the Knicks tried to reset their finances to have flexibility to bring someone in?
They can't get nobody.
It takes two to tango. Right. So let's say Chris Paul this year, for whatever reason, it doesn't work. He walks, whatever. But there's nobody that wants to come to play with you.
Right.
Or for whatever reason, no one's willing to do a deal with you or wants to come to you. That's also a risk.
That is a risk. But don't you think the Warriors have now put themselves in a great position?
Of course.
To be an attractive destination?
But it relies on Steph, again, having another great year, proving he's still that Steph Curry. And then whoever's around him, do those guys want to play with those guys? Because I do think there's an element of how many superstars really want to put up with Dre?
Right.
I think if Dre's coming back, I think that there's.
But
that's
they
a
have
question.
signed guys, though, despite having Draymond Green there. They have signed guys,
but
and veterans have
at the top end of the NBA landscape.
Right.
These guys don't want to deal with nobody they ain't feeling.
No doubt.
They want to play with guys they want to hang out with.
But they have been able to sign guys.
No doubt.
And vet men despite having Draymond Green there.
Jimmy Butler's been a guy where Miami has had a difficult time finding another guy that wants to play with him. Because he can be difficult.
You know what supersedes it?
What?
Steph Curry.
No doubt.
Steph Curry supersedes it. People say, boy, Steph Curry's going to draw so much attention. I'm going to get shots that I've never gotten before. Like Andrew Wiggins. Yeah. The first game he played with Steph Curry back in that lost season when they won 15 games, 2019-20, and they played that Thursday night game on against Toronto on TNT. It was like the highest rated game on TNT up to that point. Andrew Wiggins, after the game, he was like 3 of 12 or something from the three-point line. I don't remember. He was bad, but he goes, damn, I was wide open. And he was playing with Marquise Chris. It was Jordan Poole out there. It was Eric Pascal. And it was Steph Curry. And Andrew Wiggins said, boy, if I'm going to get shots like this, it's on and pop it, baby. And next thing you know, an All-Star game and an NBA championship came to fruition for Andrew Wiggins. So that's what happens.
But he was in his prime and heading into his prime. Like, there's a lot. I don't know, man.
Andrew Wiggins still in his prime?
No, he is. He is. I'm saying, but in his particular situation, somebody that you'd be trading for, like, hypothetically, a year and a half from now, Giannis, I don't know. Is he still in his prime? I don't know. We'll see where he's at.
How did Warrior fans feel about trading for Andrew Wiggins when they did trade for Andrew
Wiggins?
Everybody
was very skeptical.
And how are we feeling about him now?
Rightfully so.
How are we feeling about him now?
It's interesting because we were feeling great about him last year, a year ago. I don't know how people are feeling about him now. I honestly don't know.
Dude, Jay LaFrey's funny. And Zeus, I want to read Zeus. When does the schedule come out so we can see when the Wizards play the Warriors? I believe mid-August is when the NBA schedule comes out because, trust me, I need to get my football dates in order. And then Jay LaFrey, it's coming, folks. This is Chris Paul, and now back to the morning Russell Bache Hill, the Butcher, Joe Shasky.
Can Dre and CP3 get along together for a whole season?
I think they can.
I mean, those are pretty strong personalities.
They may not have to, though. Again, if it doesn't work out, flip them at the break.
Is that the winning part is like, well, if it doesn't work out, you just flip them. That's always, there's a lot of risk.
There's a lot of risk
into
here. Trust me, man. It took me a long time to even get to the financial portion of this deal.
Oh, I'll get to the finances. You know I love the finances.
Well,
I'm
I've already
talking
done
raw
that.
emotion today.
Right.
Because this is all about raw emotion.
Right.
This is a player that I have rooted actively. Very few guys, even Harden, I'm like, Harden, whatever, to some level. This is a guy I actively fist pumped when they lost in Game 7 by 8,000 points to the Dallas Mavericks. Fist pumping. I was fist pumping Chris Paul losing in the playoffs. That's how much I hate this guy.
2019, second round of the Western Conference playoffs. Whitley Sanjurdo alongside Bonte Hill. Chris Paul's a dirty player. What do we all expect? The guy's putting on a clown show here in the second round of the playoffs. He put on a clown show in the Western Conference Finals a season ago. I don't know what's gotten in the guy. I loved the guy when he was a Hornet. Loved him at Wake Forest. All of a sudden, he goes to Lob City. He goes to L.A., starts getting these State Farm commercials, and all of a sudden, he's an actor. And he's brought it over to the basketball court where all he's doing is flopping and acting. And it's just too much. It's going to be a lot of that. It's going to be a lot of that.
You don't mind flipping. You don't mind saying what's really on your mind at that moment.
Let's go to the lines.
I love
again.
Mark Ibanez.
Let's go to
Mark,
the lines
wherever
again.
you're at, I need you to call in and make me feel better because I hate Chris Paul.
You want to go?
If
you
we
want to
went
do something
sports
fun?
hate, sports hate last 10 years. Sports hate last 10 years.
LeBron James, number one.
No, but
wait.
Is he a top five?
Oh,
for
Chris
most?
Paul?
Yes.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Not 5, not 6, not 7.
I mean,
Like at least Richard Sherman.
But
All these
listen.
people, Richard Sherman was worth. And Richard Sherman should have been a 2-time champion. Richard Sherman
What, he's not.
won at the highest level and backed it up. Was one of the baddest dudes on the planet. All right, and actively denied your team
is Chris
a
Paul-
chance at a championship.
is Chris Paul, though, not a top 5 point guard in the history of the NBA?
I don't think he is without a title.
Who's better than him?
Well, Magic, Steph Curry. You can make an argument for Steve
Isaiah.
Nash. Isaiah, definitely.
Oscar Robertson?
Mr. Triple Double. I mean, you're gonna
That's
get the,
4.
Here comes the Bob Cousy.
That's 4.
I don't even feel right saying Bob Cousy.
Yeah, so
I didn't even watch him. I don't even know.
I mean,
Okay, he's 5 or 6.
he's
great.
10.
No, he's great.
He's 10.
No one's saying he's not great, Ponte. He's
But
great.
he doesn't
But
have
he's
the
an
ring.
all-time.
He doesn't have
He's
the
an
ring.
all-time playoff disappointment. Like you have to play both sides of the coin. Like
is he
has
more of a disappointment to Damian Lillard in the playoffs?
I feel like he's had better teams around him than Damian Lillard. Maybe the expectations were higher for CP3. I don't know. I got to chew on that. That's a good question.
Let's get out to the lines.
That's a really
here.
good question.
Let's get out to
I
the
got to
lines
chew
here.
on that.
Warriors 3 chains.
Yeah, by the way, I'm also taking Jason Kidd over Chris Paul.
Yeah,
that's me.
That's
That's
fair.
me.
That's fair. I would too.
I love Jason
I would
Kidd.
too. I'm taking him because he's from Oakland.